This is Super 1, the British Karting Championships, Round 9.
Welcome to the Awning Company Super 1 British Karting Championships from the final round at PF International, and it's Minimax time. Butterfield and Canning on the front row, with Lorcan Hannafin alongside Alex Lloyd, Koika, Edgar, Patterson, Cunnington, Fayers and Jeremy rounding out the top 10, ahead of Bunce, Abraham, Hunt and Zanfari, Hunter, Ravenscroft, Gilbert, Pryor and co. And look at the rain coming down on the circuit. You can just about see it. They're on slick tyres. This is what I like to call the Ayrton Senna special. It's my favourite conditions, both as a commentator and as a racer. You've got to love slick tyres in the wet. Jenson Butterfield has already wrapped up the championship. He starts from pole, so there's no pressure, but there's an awful lot of shoving as they go through the first chicane, and there's a big pile-up. That was almost inevitable. They are all going to get going again, I think, but Suleiman Zanfari, Kai Hunter, Oakley Pryor, Sam Harrison, Alex Bentley, Lewis Gilbert, all involved in that one. Bush and Burgess managed to escape over the curbs, but look at the slippery conditions now. Rain on the circuit, slick tyres, it's ice rink time.
Yeah, this is why you practice on slicks in the rain. When you have a practice day and it's raining, don't put wets on, put slicks on, because in these conditions, this is when you need that experience. It can win you races.
Yeah, look at the change in line that everybody's taking. They're staying off the rubber on the inside line. There's plenty more grip in these slippery conditions on the far outside of the circuit. And look, this is power sliding, not racing. Driving his couple of karts, going wide there at the top end of the circuit. The O-plate leading, Jenson Butterfield in front of Lorcan Hannafin. Third place is Alex Lloyd. Fourth position, that is the 21 of Tom Canning, as they continue to skid around the circuit. I was going to say push around the circuit. This is Brazil 2012 conditions now, as the field is desperately trying to pick its way through. And that is Alex Bentley off again, this time in Bobby Game corner. He recovers. Let's have a look at what happened. You can see the leaders going through in the tricky conditions. Butterfield, Hannafin, Lloyd and Canning. Then Koika, Fayers right up in sixth place. Good run from him so far. Cunnington, Bunce, Ravenscroft and then Edgar. Abraham. There's next to Patterson, the GP plate in front of Hunt. Bush and Burgess behind. Patterson, look, has overshot a little bit. Looks like he's going off the circuit. Jeremy has gone through behind Bush and Burgess. Then Zanfari, here he is. He's the Moroccan driver. He was one of the drivers involved in the pile-up on the first lap, Suleiman Zanfari. Then it's Pryor. Hunter is next in shot. And if we look back, we should see Alex Bentley going backwards as he comes into shot. There he goes. So he loses the kart completely in the conditions. Gilbert and Harrison battling to recover as well as they go through. But what's happened to Dexter Patterson, the GP plate? Because he looked like he went off there towards Parc Ferme.
Yeah, it looked like he was going into Parc Ferme. Not quite sure. I think he's recovering to the circuit. You think he is back on?
Yeah, I can't see him at the side of the road. He's certainly not out of the race. Let's have another replay. That is, whoops, that's a bit of a moment there for Burgess, having just got past Dominic Bush. And it looks as though he's overshot at Bobby Game corner. The trickiest conditions imaginable, this, of course, because the rain is just about steady. And we're on slick tyres. It's starting, well, actually, it looks as though the rain was just a brief shower. I think we're starting to dry up again.
Yeah, I think it's stopped raining now. It's still drizzling, but it's not as bad as it was. You can see the little drops of water on the lens of that camera.
Well, that's John
through there.
Johnny Edgar making a move there. Sorry, Alan. Johnny making a move on the exit of the loop. So Edgar goes up another place, and that is him there just in front of the 24 of Ben Fayers. So that I make Edgar in sixth position behind Klaas Koika. So Edgar's working his way through the field very well. Look at Butterfield, though. He's managed to get a good gap between himself and the second place man, Lorcan Hannafin.
Just like Harry Thompson earlier in Army Cadet, wanting to go out the champion with a win. Looks like Jenson Butterfield has the same plans today. Have to say, I'm very impressed with the return of Alex Lloyd. Alex there in fourth place. He had a massive crash at Fullbeck, and for a lot of kids that will be the end of their karting career. Not Alex Lloyd, he's made of sterner stuff than that. He's come back and showed a lot of character today, I have to say.
Yeah, he really has, Alex Lloyd. I winced there because we had Koika and Edgar going side by side at one of the toughest corners on the circuit to battle. Edgar again puts his nose up the inside of Koika and can't quite make it stick, and he's going to lose the place to Ben Fayers at the hairpin by the look of it. Fayers throws it up the inside. Cunnington is trying to go with him. Finley Bunce is trying to go with him, but Cunnington is in there along with the 75 of Clayton Ravenscroft. This is an amazing little scrap as Cunnington goes past Bunce, following the line of Ravenscroft as they all try and chase after the 17 of Johnny Edgar. This is a great little tussle.
Through Bobby Game corner, one more time, we'll see the actual Bobby Game, still racing in karts in his mid-40s later in this programme. It's the battle there for 5th place, another slow motion replay. The circuit is drying, you can see the traction the karts have, better than it was earlier, but it's still drizzling, and as we rejoin it, Hannafin runs wide, he had the lead, but not for long, and Alex Lloyd in his first race back since being injured at fullback grabs himself the lead.
So Lloyd is in front, yes, Butterfield has clearly been hunted down, and look, it started raining again, the slippery flags are flying, and look at the different line they're having to take just to keep on the road around the loop. It's sunny around the circuit, but as you can see, look, it is big time drizzle around the circuit. Up the inside again comes Hannafin for the lead. It's 3 wide as Canning is on the inside. Lloyd is going to cut across all of them, and Alex Lloyd leads, but is Hannafin going to get them to the braking zone? Yes, he does. Butterfield's up to 3rd position past Canning. This is classic motor racing in very tricky conditions. Lloyd is going to come around the outside. He should have more grip on the outside, but he loses the place anyway to Butterfield. So Hannafin leads it. Butterfield second to Lloyd and Canning. And the rest of the karts behind them are actually gaining ground. Up to 5th position has come Ben Fayers. He's past Koika, and now he's in 5th, and the whole of the train is tagging onto the back of the leading 4. The drizzle really has caught out the leading 4 men.
Alex Lloyd absolutely took the right lines around the hairpin, but unfortunately the other drivers took the risk. They took a chance going onto the rubber and got away with it. Here comes Lloyd for coming through the second, but gets his nose cut off as Butterfield gets the lead back.
Yeah, Butterfield went up the inside. Lloyd decided to try and follow him, and it didn't work. He's ended up being held up. Canning goes through into 3rd position. So Canning in a really difficult situation here for Lloyd as he drops to 4th position when he could be in the lead of it. So Butterfield, Hannafin, Canning, Lloyd, then it's Koika, Fayers and Edgar. That is your top 7, and it is now a 7-kart train. Still drizzle around the circuit, really intense battling all the way through this. I love these conditions as a racing driver. I have to admit, every time I get a chance to go karting myself, I want there to be rain, especially if there is slick tyres. You learn so much more driving in these conditions than you do when it's bone dry or soaking wet on wets. You get the very best of what you can do as a racing driver in these conditions, and this is where the likes of Lewis Hamilton and Jenson Button learnt how to be the geniuses they are.
Yeah, and that's probably because you carry a little bit of extra timber, Jake. So love the extra weight that you carry in the wet conditions.
Low blow, but true. Anyway, Hannafin out in front of Canning now because they both managed to sweep past Butterfield. Lloyd in 4th position out of the loop section, down the back straight once again. Hannafin holding it. There's a bit of jostling between Canning and Lloyd, and this could give Koika an opportunity up the inside of Lloyd. Koika gets through into 4th place, and Fayers is going to try and follow Lloyd as well. He gets through. Edgar's going to look for a chance for 6th position into the hairpin, and he has to defend Lloyd to stop that from happening. So now Ravenscroft is side by side with Edgar, and a little bit of wheel rubbing there as they have to slot themselves back into position. That is very close towards the tail end of this battle, but all of that shuffling means that Hannafin is now at the front of the pack. Butterfield in 2nd, Canning in 3rd, and Koika is a little further back in 4th place. Lloyd has got to roll up his sleeves and fight his way back.
Lloyd now down to 7th place. He's going to be very, very disappointed with that. You might think, and he's come back, he's showed a huge amount of character, which he has, and it's great to see that. But as a racing driver, he'll know he had the lead as he tries to get 6th place back as he got it off Edgar. Can't quite get it done. He will know as a racing driver that he had the lead earlier on, and he would have hoped to have come out of this with at least a podium. That's not going to be, but I still want to say that's still a huge amount of character he's shown to come back this weekend in difficult conditions in which, well, he was on wets when they were out at fullback when he had the big crash. But today, in drizzly conditions on slicks, those conditions are even more difficult, and he showed a huge amount of character. Congratulations to him, and I think we're going to see him right at the front of the field in Minimax next season. He's a potential championship winner, no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Finley Bunce, meanwhile, is at the back of this queue, having fought his corner with Clayton Ravenscroft. He's had a couple of moments and he's trying to force his way through. Here comes Butterfield for the lead. He nips up the inside, gets past Hannafin. Canning might get an opportunity to move to 2nd position. Looks as if the drizzle's eased off again, and this is going to make things interesting as the track tries to dry once more. Butterfield, Hannafin and Canning having a great squabble for the lead, and as they continue to duel, Koika Koika, Fayez, Edgar et al. are going to be working very hard indeed to close up. Hannafin having a look at Butterfield on the inside, who defends beautifully. That holds up Hannafin. Canning draws up alongside on the undercut. Hannafin still there to the inside to defend, but Canning might be able to get the switch back. No, he can't, because through comes Koika into third position. Fayez goes with him to fourth. This is a great scrap, and it looks as though anybody in this train of 9 karts still has a chance to win this one. Look at the defensive stance from Canning as he swerves across to keep Johnny Edgar back. This is an amazing little scrap. Second place, Lorcan Hannafin trying to keep in touch with Butterfield, but he's got a whole heap of other problems to deal with as they come out of the final chicane and down the main straight once again. Looks like Lloyd going a little bit wide on the curb as we go into the final lap, and there's still anything to play for. The championship is already done. Jensen Butterfield has already won that. Dexter Patterson, having rejoined in clear air, is now the fastest man on the circuit at 61 seconds dead for the lap, but he's out of contention, unfortunately, for a battle for the top 6. And here comes Butterfield again to defend from Hannafin. Watch Fayez on the far side. He may get one over on Koika on the switchback. He hasn't quite managed to make it through to third place, but he is definitely threatening to do so. Into the hairpin, a little bit of a nudge there. Fayez goes into the side of Koika, and he's going to hold him up. So Koika is going to fall a little bit further back off the back of Butterfield and Hannafin. So it looks as though Jensen Butterfield has got enough to deal with this. Hannafin in second position. They've got to be careful in these final couple of corners. It can be very easy to lose the back end, but this time Jensen Butterfield is going to complete his season on a high. The O plate has already become the 1 plate, and now he's going to finish the championship as the champion and the race winner. What an amazing race to win, and that is the quality we've seen from Jensen Butterfield all season long. He takes the win in front of Hannafin and Koika. Fayez is fourth from Canning, Edgar, Lloyd, Ravenscroft, Cunnington in ninth, and Jeremy there in 10th position. What a fight!
A relaxed weekend for you in some ways, but you still had to do the job on the track. Just talk us through the final, because it was topping and changing all the way through. That was a tough race.
Yeah, it was a really hard race. Obviously, it started off a little bit dry, drizzled a bit in the middle, and I was leading and it chucked it down, and I missed the corner around here and dropped a wheel, which was very scary. Obviously, I dropped back to fourth, managed to get my way back through to the lead, and with about 3 laps to go, and held it to the end.
The name Jensen becoming quite popular as a Super 1 championship winning force. Butterfield is the title winner from Edgar, Canning, Hannafin and Patterson after another successful campaign. We'll be back for more action here at PF International after the break.
This is Super 1, the British Karting Championships, Round 9.